Welcome back to the deep dive. We are shifting gears a little bit today. Usually, we're in the weeds with a dense manuscript or tearing apart some complex policy paper.
Trying to find the signal in the noise.
Exactly. But today we're doing something that feels a bit more, I guess visceral is the word. We're packing our bags.
Metaphorically, at least.
Yeah, metaphorically. Oh. Though, honestly, looking at the places we're about to discuss, I think we'd both rather be packing them for real.
Absolutely, no question.
So we're going on a world tour. But, and I want to be really clear about this right from the start, this is not a travel guide.
Not at all.
We aren't going to tell you the best place to get a croissant or, where to find the cheapest hostel. We're actually trying to tackle a very specific problem with the way we travel now.
The modern style of travel.
Right. You know the drill, you land, you rush to the big landmark, you elbow your way through a crowd to get that one perfect photo.
The selfie.
You post it, and then you're on to the next thing.
It's the checklist approach to seeing the world, isn't it? It turns exploration into a kind of consumption.
That's a great way to put it, consumption.
You're there to take the photo, to get the experience, and then move on. It's really just an accumulation of images rather than any kind of real alteration of your perspective.
It feels so hollow. You get home, you're exhausted, and you think, did I actually see anything? Or did I just verify that, yeah, the Eiffel Tower looks like it does on the internet?
Exactly. You're just confirming a pre-existing image.
So today, we are flipping that script entirely. We're going to look at 11 very specific locations around the globe. We're calling them paradises of observation.
And we're using that word paradise pretty carefully here. These aren't just, pretty vacation spots with a nice beach.
Right.
They're locations that, because of their very nature, their geology, their scale, their architecture, they actually force you to slow down. They're what you might call hidden paradises.
Hidden not because they're secret, though. I mean, a lot of these names will be very familiar.
Oh yeah, everyone knows them. They're hidden because they don't give up their secrets immediately. They don't reveal their true depth to someone who's impatient.
They demand a different kind of currency. It's not about money. It's about your attention span.
That's it. It's about your willingness to be quiet and let the place set the pace.
All right, let's do it. Our first section, the shifting landscapes. These are places that physically alter their appearance. They're unstable, but in the most beautiful way possible. And to kick this off, we're heading to the coast of Normandy in France.
Mont-Saint-Michel.
A classic. But I think, like you said, it's a place that's often misunderstood. People see it as just a pretty castle on a hill.
It's so much more than that. It's a geological drama playing out twice a day.
It really is. I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen it, picture a single gravity-defying abbey perched on this conical rocky island surrounded by a massive flat bay. But the real main character here isn't the abbey or the rock.
It's the water.
Or, more specifically, the absence of it and then the sudden, overwhelming presence of it.
We have to talk about the tides. I mean, this is non-negotiable for understanding this place. The Bay of Mont-Saint-Michel has some of the highest tidal variations in all of Europe.
How high are we talking?
It can be up to a 14 or 15 meter difference between low and high tide.
That's a 5-story building's worth of water.
Exactly. And because the bay is so vast and so shallow that water moves incredibly fast, Victor Hugo famously described the tide coming in as having the speed of a galloping horse.
Which is a genuinely terrifying image if you're out there walking.
It was a real danger for centuries. So let's look at the low tide first. When the sea pulls back, it doesn't just go out a little bit. It recedes for several kilometers.
Several kilometers?
Yeah. And what's left behind is this enormous, luminous, almost otherworldly surface of sand and silt. They call it the Tang. It essentially creates a temporary desert around the monument.
And that feeling of isolation must be profound.
That's the key. Historically, this was a major pilgrimage site, and the crossing, that walk across the dangerous shifting sands, was part of the spiritual ordeal. It was a threshold.
A liminal space.
A liminal space, exactly. You're leaving the safety and the noise of the mainland and entering this sacred, isolated space.
And then the tide turns. This is the moment of transformation. The island is.
Yeah.
It's literally severed from the world.
Completely severed. The water rushes in and entirely surrounds the mountain, turning it back into a true island. Its silhouette is just floating on the horizon.
They actually had to change the infrastructure recently to preserve that, didn't they?
They did, yeah. For a long time, there was a solid causeway, like a road, built out to it. But they realized it was disrupting the currents. Silt was building up, and the mount was in danger of becoming permanently attached to the land.
It was becoming a peninsula.
It was. So they tore down the causeway and built this beautiful, delicate bridge on stilts that allows the water to flow freely underneath, restoring its true maritime character.
The sheer will to engineer the landscape just to keep it an island, that's incredible.
It shows how central that transformation is to its identity.
But let's talk about the structure itself. The abbey seems to just grow out of the granite. It's not like they leveled the top of the rock and put a building on it.
No, absolutely not. The architecture is completely subservient to the geology. It wraps around the granite cone in a spiral. It's a journey upwards.
And it's a social journey too, right?
It's a vertical hierarchy, frozen in stone. You have the lower levels for merchants, guards, commoners. As you climb, you reach the halls for the nobility, and then at the very apex, the church and the abbey reaching for the heavens.
It's a mix of styles too. I remember the lower parts feeling very heavy, almost fortress-like.
That's the Romanesque architecture. Thick walls, small windows, very grounded. But as you ascend, it transitions into the Gothic style, which is all about light, height, and delicacy. The part they call the Merveille on the north side.
It looked impossibly tall from the bottom, just the sheer wall of stone and glass.
It's a structural masterpiece. They had to build these huge cavernous crypts underneath, not for burials, but simply to create a flat platform to support the weight of the choir above.
So the whole experience for a visitor is designed, it's choreographed.
Completely. You start at the bottom in these dark, narrow, winding medieval streets. It's claustrophobic, it's noisy, you feel enclosed.
Right.
But as you climb, the spaces begin to open up. You catch glimpses of the sky, of the bay. There's a gradual release.
Until you finally reach the terrace at the very top.
And then, after all that stone and compression and shadow, you are just hit with this explosion of light, a 360-degree view of the open horizon, the sky, the sea. It's overwhelming.
That transition, it's designed to induce a state of awe.
It is. It's a release. You move from the confined human world below to the expansive, almost divine world above. It's a conversation between the solid rock and the fluid tide, and you, the observer, are right in the middle of it.
From the cold rushing tides of the English Channel, let's do a hard pivot, a complete teleportation to a place that feels, frankly, extraterrestrial.
The Bolivian Altiplano,
The Salar de Uyuni.
the world's largest salt flat. And when we say large, it's almost impossible to really convey the scale.
Give it a shot.
Okay, it's over 10,000 square kilometers. That's roughly the size of the entire country of Lebanon, or Jamaica, an entire nation made of salt.
And it's incredibly high up. We're at something like 3,600 meters above sea level.
Right, so the air is thin, the sun is incredibly intense, but the thing that really breaks your brain when you're there is the flatness.
The flatness.
The variation in elevation across that entire 10,000 square kilometers is less than 1 meter.
That's not possible.
It's one of the flattest natural surfaces on the entire planet, which is why, and this is amazing, NASA and other agencies use the Salar to calibrate the altimeters on their satellites.
Wait, really? Satellites look down at this patch of salt to figure out where zero is?
It's more reliable than the ocean surface, which has waves and tides and swells. The Salar is a near-perfect constant.
That's just wild. But visually, this place is like a shapeshifter. It has two completely different personalities.
It does, and that seasonal duality is the key to why it's a shifting landscape. In the dry season, from about May to November, all the surface moisture evaporates.
And the salt crust cracks.
It cracks into these incredible, almost perfect hexagonal tiles. It looks like a giant, white, paved mosaic that just stretches to infinity in every direction. There's nothing to interrupt the view.
That's when you see those photos where people are playing with perspective, right?
Exactly.
Where someone looks like they're standing on a giant's hand.
Right, because there are no trees, no hills, no buildings to give your brain any depth cues. There's no sense of scale, so you can manipulate it.
But then, the rainy season comes.
Then the rainy season comes, and this is when the true magic happens. This is the mirror effect.
Let's really dig into this phenomenon. It's not a deep lake, is it? It's a very thin layer of water.
Just a few inches. The rain falls, but the salt crust is so dense and compacted that the water can't absorb. It just sits on top.
And it's perfectly still.
Perfectly still. And because the salt underneath is brilliant white, it acts as a perfect, flawless reflector. It reflects the sky with 100% fidelity.
I've read accounts of people getting actual vertigo there.
You do, because if the reflection is perfect, the horizon line completely vanishes.
There's no up or down.
There's no up or down. You look up, you see clouds and blue sky. You look down, you see clouds and blue sky. It feels like you are walking through the atmosphere. like you're walking on clouds.
That must do something strange to your brain.
It does. There's a neurological effect here related to proprioception. That's our body's internal sense of where it is in space.
And we rely on the horizon for that.
Heavily. The visual horizon is our main anchor for balance and orientation. When you take it away, your brain struggles to calibrate. It creates this sensation of floating, of being untethered. It's a literal disorientation that forces a kind of psychological reorientation.
You have to trust what your feet are telling you because your eyes are giving you impossible information.
Or rather, they're telling you that you're walking the sky. It's profoundly introspective. Unlike Mont-Saint-Michel, where the focus is this huge dramatic structure, here the focus is the void.
The emptiness.
It's extreme simplicity. It forces you to look inward because there is literally nothing else to look at. It's just you and the sky and the infinite geometry of it all.
It's the ultimate minimalist landscape. Okay, let's bring some complexity back into the picture. We're leaving the starkness of Bolivia and heading to northern Vietnam,
To Ha Long Bay.
a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you immediately see why. If Uyuni is all about the vast horizontal plain,
Ha Long Bay is all about the vertical.
we're talking about, what, almost 2,000 limestone islands and islets?
Around 1,600, I believe, and they just erupt from the calm waters of the Gulf of Tonkin.
We call them islands, but they don't look like normal islands. They look like towers. These steep, jungle-covered pillars poking out of this emerald green water.
The geology is called karst topography. This is a classic example of what's known as drowned karst.
So what does that mean?
Millions of years ago, this whole area was a massive limestone plateau. Over eons, rainwater, which is naturally slightly acidic, seeped into cracks and eroded the rock. It carved out caves, tunnels, and deep valleys. Then, at the end of the last ice age, sea levels rose dramatically and flooded the entire plateau.
So the valleys became the bay.
The valleys became the bay, and only the tops of the highest peaks were left sticking out of the water.
So when you're on a boat drifting through Ha Long Bay, you are essentially sailing between the summits of an ancient mountain range.
You're drifting through geological time. And the scale is so deceptive. Some of these formations are huge, hundreds of meters high. Others are just little rocks. But because of the way they're scattered, the composition of your view is constantly changing.
And that's the shifting aspect here, isn't it? In Uyuni, the view is constant. It's the same infinity in every direction. Here, the view is a moving target.
Exactly. As your boat glides along, islands will line up, they'll obscure each other, new vistas will open up. A rock that looks like a dragon from one angle will look like something else entirely from another.
It creates a sense of continuous reveal.
Yes. The landscape never shows you everything at once. It's a process of discovery. You'll pass through a narrow channel between two cliffs, and suddenly a huge hidden lagoon opens up. It feels very dynamic, very cinematic.
And the water itself has such a distinct color. It's not the deep blue of the ocean, it's jade, it's emerald.
That's because of the high concentration of limestone sediment and algae in the water. But visually, it creates this beautiful softness, a kind of atmospheric mist that hangs in the air.
It looks like a traditional painting.
It's the classic landscape of Chinese and Vietnamese scroll paintings come to life. These towering, mystical mountains fading into the mist, it feels naturally ordered, like a divine garden that was actually created by millions of years of chaotic erosion.
It's interesting to compare the silence here to the silence of Uyuni.
How so?
Well, the silence in Uyuni feels absolute mineral dead. It's salt and sky. The silence in Ha Long feels alive.
That's a great point. It's a living silence. Hear the call of a bird, the lapping of the water against the stone, the rustle of vegetation clinging to the sheer cliffs.
It's a serene movement. It invites you to drift, to go slow. It teaches you that observation isn't always about staring at a fixed point. Sometimes it's about flowing through a space and letting the perspective shift all around you.
A perfect segue. We've looked at landscapes that trick the eye and shift their form. Now let's move on to what we're calling the architecture of the Earth.
These are places where the raw power of the planet is just on full display. We're moving from the dreamlike to the visceral.
Living systems, places where you can practically feel the pulse of the planet under your feet.
And I can't think of a better place to start than Yellowstone National Park in the USA.
The world's first national park, established in 1872. But it's a place we often reduce to a single postcard image.
Old Faithful erupting.
Right. But people forget, or maybe they don't realize, that Yellowstone is, in its entirety, a massive, active volcano.
Not just a volcano, a supervolcano.
A supervolcano. The caldera, the collapsed mouth of the volcano from its last major eruption, is so enormous that for a long time geologists didn't even realize they were standing inside it.
How big is it?
It's roughly 72 by 48 kilometers, 45 by 30 miles.
That context changes absolutely everything. When you're driving through Yellowstone, you're not driving through a park. You're driving across a thin crust of Earth stretched over a giant chamber of molten magma.
And that's why the landscape is so full of these incredible paradoxes. You'll have a serene green meadow with a herd of bison grazing peacefully.
And then literally right next to it, the ground is boiling, it's hissing steam and bubbling mud.
Let's focus on one feature, the Grand Prismatic Spring,
The big rainbow-colored one.
the third largest hot spring in the world. But it's the color that just stops you in your tracks. It doesn't look natural.
It looks like a giant psychedelic eye staring up at the sky. Deep, brilliant blue in the center, and then these vivid rings of green, yellow, orange, and fiery red around the edges.
And the most amazing thing is that the color isn't from minerals in the water, it's biological.
It's alive.
It's alive. Those colored rings are vast mats of thermophiles, microbes, bacteria that are adapted to thrive in scalding hot, mineral-rich water.
So each color is a different species of bacteria.
Essentially, yes. Or different communities of them. The different colors correspond to different temperature zones. The water is hottest in the blue center, too hot for almost anything, and it cools as it spreads out, allowing different types of heat-loving bacteria to flourish.
So you're looking at life forms that exist in conditions that would kill us in an instant.
You're likely looking at what the earliest forms of life on Earth looked like billions of years ago. So observing the Grand Prismatic Spring is like looking back into deep time.
The big lesson of Yellowstone, then, seems to be about dynamism.
It's about dynamic equilibrium. You have immense forces of creation, the forests, the wildlife, the rivers, and destruction. The heat, the fire, the acidity, all existing side by side in a constant, delicate balance.
It's not a static painting, it's always moving. Geysers erupt, mud pots boil over, earthquakes happen frequently, which can actually shift the underground plumbing and change how the springs behave.
It's the Earth breathing and working. And to really understand it, you need what you might call progressive observation.
Meaning what?
Meaning you can't just see it from the car. You have to get out and walk the boardwalks to see the micro details, the delicate textures of the bacteria mats. But then you also have to hike up to an elevated viewpoint to grasp the macro scale of the whole caldera.
It teaches you that the planet isn't a finished product.
Not at all. It's a constant work in progress.
Okay, from the fire and steam of Yellowstone, let's cool things way down. We're heading north, across the border into the Canadian Rockies.
Banff National Park.
A landscape of ice and stone. If Yellowstone is the Earth's engine room,
Banff is its cathedral. Grand, silent, and majestic.
the scale here is overwhelmingly vertical. Jagged, snow-capped peaks that just tear at the sky. But for me, the most memorable feature is the lakes.
Lake Louise and Moraine Lake.
The color of that water just doesn't seem real. It's this opaque, milky, almost neon turquoise.
And that's a very specific geological phenomenon. It's caused by something called rock flour. Yeah. As the massive glaciers grind their way down the mountainsides, they pulverize the bedrock beneath them into a superfine, silt-like powder, almost like flour. This powder is then carried by the glacial meltwater down into the lakes.
And the particles are so fine that they don't sink to the bottom.
They stay suspended in the water column, and because of their specific size and mineral properties, they absorb most wavelengths of sunlight, but refract the blue and green parts of the spectrum.
So the water itself is glowing.
It's literally glowing from within. It acts as this incredible mirror for the surrounding peaks, but a filtered one.
Let's talk about the atmosphere of Banff. The feeling of being there.
It's a place of profound stillness. The sheer mass of the mountains seems to absorb sound. The acoustics are different. Everything is dampened. It invites a very quiet, attentive kind of observation.
It feels like the landscape demands your respect. You feel very small there, but not in a threatening way.
No, not like being in the middle of the ocean. You feel contained, held by the valley walls. It's a powerful feeling.
And it's a powerful lesson in coexistence, too.
Absolutely. Banff has, with varying degrees of success over the years, managed to balance large-scale human access with true wilderness conservation. You have a major highway, a railway, and a town site right in the middle of it.
But just a few hundred meters off the road, you are in prime grizzly bear habitat.
Exactly. It shows that it's possible for us to observe and experience nature without completely overwhelming it, as long as we understand and respect the boundaries.
The silence there really reinforces that connection. I find myself whispering even if there's no one else around.
You do. It just feels like the appropriate response to that level of grandeur.
Okay, now for a complete environmental shift. We are leaving the cold mountains and going underwater.
To the Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
The largest living structure on planet Earth.
So large, in fact, that it's the only living thing that is clearly visible from space.
Just think about that for a second. Coral, it looks like colorful rock, but it's an animal.
It's a colony of millions and millions of tiny animals called polyps. And each polyp builds a hard exoskeleton for itself out of calcium carbonate. That's the reef structure.
But the incredible color doesn't come from the polyp itself, right?
No. It comes from a vital, symbiotic relationship the coral has with microscopic algae called zooxanthellae that live inside its tissues. The algae photosynthesize, providing the coral with food, and in return, the coral gives the algae a protected home. The color is the algae.
When you're down there diving or snorkeling, the visual density is it's overwhelming.
It's sensory overload in the best possible way. In Banff, you have these huge, simple shapes, a mountain, a lake, the sky. On the reef, it's a million tiny, intricate shapes, all in constant flowing motion.
It's like a bustling alien city.
A perfect analogy. And everything is interconnected in a visible way. You can see the clownfish depending on the anemone for protection, the cleaner shrimp servicing the larger fish. It's a direct visual representation of a complex web of life.
And light plays a huge role here too, just like in our other locations, but in a different way.
Right. As you descend, the water acts as a filter and absorbs different colors of the light spectrum. Red is the first color to disappear, then orange, then yellow.
So the entire landscape changes color based on your depth. The same piece of coral can look completely different at 5 meters than it does at 20 meters.
But we have to touch on the modern aspect of observing the reef, which is the issue of coral bleaching.
The distress signal.
It's a stark, undeniable distress signal. When the ocean water gets too warm due to climate change, the coral polyps get stressed, and they expel the colorful algae living in their tissues.
And without the algae, they turn white.
They turn bone white. It's not dead yet, but it's starving and vulnerable. It's the planet giving us immediate visual feedback. Unlike, say, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which is invisible, a bleached reef is an image of an ecosystem in collapse that you cannot ignore.
So observing the reef today is this strange mix of absolute wonder and profound tragedy.
It is. It teaches a form of quiet understanding. You're a guest, an alien floating in a medium that isn't your own, and you are witnessing both the immense beauty and the extreme fragility of this system right in front of your face.
It's a reminder that beauty isn't a permanent state. It requires very specific conditions to survive.
A fragile harmony.
Let's move to our third section. We've seen nature in its raw, shifting, powerful state. Now let's look at what we're calling human harmony.
This is about how humans have modified the Earth, not to conquer it, but to live within its rhythms, and in doing so have created something beautiful.
This is terraforming in the ancient, respectful sense of the word.
Living with the landscape's logic, not fighting against it.
And I can't think of a better example than the Bano rice terraces in the Philippines.
Often called the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
And for very good reason. These terraces were carved into the steep mountainsides of the Ifugao region roughly 2,000 years ago.
By hand. We have to emphasize that. There was no dynamite, no heavy machinery, just hand tools and an incredible depth of ancestral knowledge.
And the engineering behind it is breathtakingly sophisticated. This is not just, steps on a hill. This is a massive, integrated, gravity-fed hydraulic machine.
Let's get into the hydraulics because it's fascinating. How does the water get all the way up to those top terraces?
That's the genius of it.
Yeah,
It
right.
comes from the rainforests that are preserved at the very top of the mountains. The Ifugao people understood for millennia that the forest acts like a giant sponge, capturing rainwater and releasing it slowly.
So they protected the forests at the summit.
They protected them as sacred groves, the Muyang. From there, the water flows down through an incredibly intricate network of bamboo pipes, stone-lined channels, and mud sluices from one terrace to the next.
It's all powered by gravity.
Entirely. And this system requires immense social cooperation.
What do you mean?
Well, if the farmer on the highest terrace takes too much water, the farmer at the very bottom gets none, and his crop fails. So the landscape itself necessitated the creation of a complex social and legal structure to manage water rights and ensure everyone gets their fair share.
The geography dictated the sociology.
Precisely. And visually, it's stunning. The terraces follow the natural contours of the mountains, creating these swirling organic lines. It looks like a giant fingerprint pressed onto the land.
It's a living system. It changes throughout the year.
Constantly. It's vibrant green when the rice seedlings are first planted, then it turns to a shimmering gold when it's ready for harvest, and then after the harvest, the flooded paddies become these muddy, mirror-like pools reflecting the sky.
And exploring it is not a passive experience.
Not at all. You have to walk. The paths are the narrow earthen walls of the terraces themselves. You have the mountain on one side and a sheer drop-off on the other.
So it forces you to pay attention to every step.
It does. It grounds you in your body. But you're walking through a 2,000-year-old farm that is also a World Heritage Site. It's a profound lesson in generational patience. This wasn't built in a decade. It was built and maintained over centuries.
From the humid, green mountains of the Philippines to the sun-drenched blue coast of southern Italy.
The Amalfi Coast.
Another stunning example of human adaptation, but in a totally different context. This is about what you might call vertical urbanism.
Yes. The coastline here is incredibly dramatic. It's not gentle rolling hills. It's limestone cliffs dropping straight into the Tyrrhenian Sea.
And yet, people built entire towns clinging to the sides of these cliffs.
Towns like Positano, Amalfi, Ravello, and they didn't try to flatten the land to build their houses. They adapted the architecture to the steep slope.
The houses are basically stacked on top of each other.
They are. The roof of one house often serves as the terrace or garden for the house directly above it. It's a cascade of structures.
And the colors are so distinctive. The pastel pinks, the yellows, the ochres. It all feels like a coherent single work of art. But it's not just the houses. They figured out how to farm here, too.
The agricultural terraces, they built these incredible dry stone walls in the Macer to create small, level pockets of soil on the impossible slopes.
So they could grow the famous Amalfi lemons?
Exactly. And they built these chestnut wood pergolas over the lemon groves, which creates a specific microclimate, trapping heat and moisture to cultivate this incredible fruit in a place where it shouldn't really be able to grow. It's agricultural alchemy.
The very nature of the terrain forces a certain kind of travel on you.
It does. You cannot rush the Amalfi Coast. The single road is narrow and winding. The towns themselves are labyrinths of steep staircases.
It is contemplative movement.
That's a great term for it. You are constantly forced to stop to catch your breath. And every time you do, you're rewarded with another perfectly framed view of the deep blue sea through an archway or over a balcony. The sea is a constant companion to your gaze.
It really feels like a natural theater. The towns are the tiered balconies, the audience, and the sea is the grand stage.
I love that analogy. It suggests that human settlement doesn't always have to be a scar on the landscape. Sometimes it can actually enhance it. The Amalfi Coast would be beautiful on its own, but with the towns, it becomes something truly sublime.
Okay, that brings us to our final section. We've seen organic, natural shapes, and we've seen humans adapting to them. Now we're going to look at places where humans tried to impose perfect mathematical order onto the world.
Sacred geometry. This is about using symmetry, precise alignments, and the manipulation of light to connect with something divine.
And you simply cannot talk about symmetry in architecture without starting with the Taj Mahal in India.
The absolute zenith of Mughal architecture. We have all seen the photograph 1,000 times, the perfect white dome, the reflecting pool, the 4 minarets. It seems like the definition of perfect symmetry.
But the real art of observation here is about looking closer. Let's start with the material. It's not just white stone.
Not at all. It's Makrana marble, sourced from Rajasthan. And this is a very specific type of metamorphic rock. It's incredibly hard, but it has a high crystalline content, which makes it semi-translucent.
Translucent, so light actually penetrates the surface of the stone.
A little bit, yes. It doesn't just bounce off. It enters the stone and creates this soft internal glow. And this property means the building's color changes dramatically throughout the day.
How so?
At dawn, in the soft, warm light, it can appear a delicate pink. Under the harsh, direct sun of midday, it's a brilliant, almost flat white. And then under the light of a full moon, it glows with this cool, silvery, ethereal light.
So the building is like a barometer for the quality of the light in the sky.
It's in constant dialogue with the sky. And the symmetry, of course, is obsessive. The gardens are laid out in the Charbagh style, a 4-part garden and meant to represent the gardens of paradise described in the Quran. The long reflecting pool perfectly doubles the image, creating vertical symmetry.
But I've heard there is one single intentional break in that perfect symmetry.
There is. Inside the main chamber, under the dome, are the cenotaphs, the false tombs of Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan. Hers is in the exact geometric center of the building. His was added later and is placed just to the west of hers.
So it's off-center.
It's the only asymmetrical element in the entire complex. A single human touch in what is otherwise a monument to divine perfection.
And the way you approach the building is also carefully designed, isn't it?
Oh, completely. You enter through a massive gateway made of red sandstone. The main arch of that gateway perfectly frames the Taj Mahal in the distance.
And as you walk closer, something strange happens.
It's a clever optical illusion. Because of the way the angles work, as you walk toward the building, it actually appears to get smaller, not larger. It seems to settle into the landscape.
It's a visual trick to make it feel more accessible, more human-scaled.
Exactly. It invites this leisurely observation. You have the grand scale of the dome, meant to be seen from miles away, but then you get up close and see the breathtaking inlay work, the pietradura, with tiny pieces of semi-precious stones like lapis lazuli and jasper forming intricate floral patterns. It works at every single scale of observation.
From the perfect symmetry of Mughal India to the astronomical precision of ancient Mexico.
Chichén Itzá, on the Yucatan Peninsula.
Here, the geometry isn't just for beauty. It's a clock. It's a calendar.
The Maya were master astronomers and mathematicians, and they were obsessed with tracking time and celestial cycles. The whole site is an astronomical instrument.
The main pyramid, the pyramid of Kukulkan or El Castillo, is the centerpiece. And it's not just a big pile of rocks, it is a physical calendar built of stone.
Let's do the math on it. The pyramid has 4 sides, a staircase on each. Each of those 4 staircases has 91 steps.
Okay, so 91 times 4 is 364.
Plus the single platform at the very top.
Makes 365, the number of days in the solar year.
They built the Hab calendar directly into the architecture of their most sacred temple.
But the most incredible act of observation here only happens twice a year. On the equinoxes.
The descent of the serpent. The pyramid is oriented so precisely that on the spring and autumn equinoxes, as the sun sets, it hits the northwest corner of the pyramid's tiers.
And it casts a shadow on the balustrade of the northern staircase?
A shadow that forms a series of 7 triangles of light and shade. And it looks exactly like the undulating body of a massive snake.
A snake that connects perfectly to the giant carved stone serpent head at the base of the staircase.
It creates this moving image of their feathered serpent god, Kukulkan, appearing to slither down from the heavens to the earth. The level of planning that requires is just staggering. Astronomy, geometry, architecture, all working in perfect sync. If the angle were off by even half a degree, the effect would be lost.
And there's an acoustic trick there too, isn't there?
The Quetzal clap. It's incredible if you stand in the Grand Plaza at the base of the staircase and clap your hands once.
The echo sounds like a bird.
The echo that comes back doesn't sound like a clap. It's a high-pitched chirping sound that perfectly mimics the call of the sacred Quetzal bird. They engineered the sound reflections.
That's just mind-blowing.
It proves that this site wasn't just a place of worship. It was an instrument, a machine for interpreting the cosmos and making it tangible for the community. Observing Chichén Itzá is observing how a civilization made sense of the universe through meticulous order.
And for our final destination, we are going to a place where that meticulous order is now being slowly, beautifully reclaimed by the jungle.
Angkor in northern Cambodia.
The largest religious monument in the entire world. Originally a Hindu temple complex dedicated to Vishnu, later converted to Buddhist use. It's meant to be a stone replica of the cosmic Mount Meru, the center of the universe.
And you mentioned the hydraulics of Bano earlier. We have to understand that Angkor was also a hydraulic city.
The Khmer Empire was built on water management.
Absolutely. They constructed these massive man-made reservoirs called barays. The West Baray, for example, is 8 kilometers long by 2 kilometers wide. It looks like a natural lake, but it's not.
And this system allowed them to harvest rice multiple times a year.
Which supported the immense population and labor force required to build these staggering temples.
But visually, for me, the most powerful image of Angkor is the interplay between the stone and the trees, especially in temples like Ta Prohm.
The giant silk cotton trees, the spung, their roots, thick as pythons, just flow over the temple walls like liquid stone, like melted wax. It is the most potent image I can think of sacred geometry meeting a living system.
It's the Tomb Raider aesthetic. Everyone knows it from the movies. But philosophically, what is that image telling us?
I think it evokes a true sense of the sublime. In art and philosophy, the sublime isn't just beauty. It's beauty mixed with a sense of awe and maybe even a little bit of terror at the overwhelming power of nature.
Right.
seeing these massive, eternal-seeming stone structures being slowly crushed and yet also embraced by a living tree. It's a powerful meditation on impermanence.
The stone represents human order and a quest for eternity, and the tree represents the unstoppable cycle of life, death, and decay.
And they're locked in this embrace. If you were to cut the tree down now, the temple walls it's holding up would collapse. If you somehow remove the temple, the tree would fall. They've reached a new, strange equilibrium.
Angkor Wat itself, the main temple, is much more manicured. But the observation there is about the details, the bas-reliefs.
Of them. Kilometers of intricate carvings depicting Hindu myths and historical battles. And once again, light is the key. The reliefs are carved very shallowly.
Why?
They're designed to be read in the morning or late afternoon when the sun hits them at an oblique angle, creating shadows that give the figures depth and make them pop out. At high noon, when the sun is directly overhead, they look flat and almost disappear.
So you have to be there at the right time.
You do. The whole complex is a sequence of interconnected spaces. You walk along long causeways through a series of gates and galleries. The view unfolds slowly. It's not meant to be seen all at once.
It proves that contemplation requires space and time and a journey. You can't just arrive.
You have to approach.
So, we have been all over the world. From the tides of Normandy to the jungles of Cambodia. We've seen salt flats, supervolcanoes, rice terraces, coral reefs.
It's a lot to process.
It is. But if we try to pull it all together, what is the common thread? What's the so what? For someone listening, we're not just trying to create a fancy bucket list.
No, absolutely not. I think the single thread that connects all 11 of these places is that they refuse to provide instant gratification.
Right.
Not a single one of them gives you its full value in a 5-minute glance from a tour bus.
You have to wait for the tide at Mont-Saint-Michel. You have to wait for the right season at Uyuni. You have to wait for the right light at Angkor Wat. You have to physically walk the path in Banat.
They all demand active observation.
Yeah.
They require you to engage your body, your senses, and your intellect. They make you ask questions. Why is that water that color? Why is that pyramid at that specific angle? Where did the horizon go?
We live in an age of what you might call visual gluttony. We scroll through thousands of images a day on our phones, but we rarely, if ever, stop to really analyze a single one.
And these places teach us the value of visual balance. They teach us coherent organization. They remind us that we are biological creatures that evolved to exist in a physical world, not just disembodied minds floating in a digital one.
Okay, so here's the final challenge for you listening, and this is the provocative thought we want to leave you with. You probably can't book a flight to Bolivia or Cambodia tomorrow.
Most of us can't, no.
But if exploring is really just about learning to see, can you apply that same mindset to your own neighborhood?
That's the question. Can you look at the local park with the same kind of proprioceptive awareness you'd need to navigate the Salar de Uyuni? Can you watch the afternoon light hit the brick wall of the building across the street with the same patience you'd give to the marble of the Taj Mahal?
It's about a kind of fractal attention, isn't it? Finding the complexity in the universe in the small details right in front of you.
Observation is a skill, not a destination. And it's a skill you can practice absolutely anywhere.
I love that. Observation is a skill. Well, on that note, we'd encourage you to try it. Take a silent pause sometime today. Find something, anything. A tree on your street, a crack in the pavement, and just really look at it for 5 minutes. See what reveals itself.
You might be surprised by what you find.
Thanks for taking this journey with us today. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Safe travels.